So I was sitting here watching a bunch of anime trailers and looking at all the upcoming anime that's coming out and decided, you know what? I'm going to make an anime list of all of my favorite anime that I've ever seen. And I might as well start out with a couple of honorable mentions because one is a series of movies and the other one isn't really an anime. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I watched it every episode as it came out. As a kid, I think it came out when I was like 8 years old. It was the first episode. No, I was younger than that. I was like 6. And I watched the entire thing and I loved all of it. And I've probably seen it maybe 15 times since then because I have it on my media server. Just, it just, it would be at my number 3 spot if I could classify it as an anime. But it's not an anime. So it has to be in the honorable mentions. Up next for the honorable mentions is the Studio Ghibli movies. I grew up watching Studio Ghibli. Probably my favorite is Kiki's Delivery Service, Castle in the Sky, probably up there. Princess Mononoke, um, Nausicaa, even though that wasn't really a Studio Ghibli movie, I don't think. Yeah, Spirited Away was a good one. And there's Kiki's Delivery Service. I think Disney ended up. Does Disney own them? I'm not sure. But Studio Ghibli movies, love them. My very first one, I was like 5 years old. Didn't even know what it was. Now, we move on to the actual list. You see my dog back there. Helga, what are you doing? Anyway, number 10 on the list, Ghost in the Shell. I was way too young to be watching Ghost in the Shell. The show standalone complex, and the movies that came after that, this show would be ranked a lot higher if it wasn't for the fact I don't like the 3D animated CG stuff that come out as of late. Arise was alright, but the stuff after that, the new standalone complex, I did not like that at all. Ghost in the Shell is this weird biopunk, cyberpunk, guns, tits, city show. It's good. On to number 9 on the list, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I wish that I could rank this one higher. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I watched the original Full Metal Alchemist. It was alright. I really loved it when it was out though, like when it was the only thing out. Cause I was sick at home, just got Netflix, and binge watched the entire Full Metal. No, 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 no. I did that for Brotherhood. No, Full Metal Alchemist. I had to go out to like weird video game shops and places that sold DVDs, and I had to individually buy DVDs that had 4 discs or 4 episodes on each disc. And I didn't have them all. Eventually, I got them all and watched all of it. But man, did it take me a long time to watch it, but got fond memories of those days. It messed me up. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is basically the better version of the original Full Metal Alchemist. It had better pacing, better writing, better animation, better ending. It was super brutal, super sad. And also, I had a DMT experience where I saw the truth, kind of like how Ed did. Anyway, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, legendary. Next up on the list, number 8 is Parasite, the Maxim. And when I first watched Parasite, the Maxim, I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I watched the first few episodes where he was the pussy version of himself, and I thought it was garbage. I thought that was what the whole show was going to be about, just this pussy guy that's just hating his life and being miserable with his hand. And then you turn on one episode, suddenly he's completely different. And he's changed, and it's got this weird feeling that like it came out in the 90s or something, but it has a really, really good animation. And it ended up like overly exceeding my expectations by a long shot. And it's brutal. The organic, yeah, like that with people's faces, yeah, that. For me, it was a 10 out of 10. So the next one on the list is Cyberpunk Edge Runners at number 7, or Edge Runner. And it's the newest one that I've added to my list of all-time favorites. I didn't expect it to be so good. It absolutely blew me away. It's got a lot of people that did a lot of the old sci-fi anime, and it was just 10 out of 10. It's sad. It's got blood, gore, tits. People from Ghost in the Shell worked on it, and a lot of, I think the original creator of Ghost in the Shell worked on it. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to do some research. But as you can see, the animation is killer, and it's brutal, and it's incredibly sad, and it's cyberpunk. So, all right, down to anime number 6, Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann. I didn't know what to expect with this anime when I first watched it. I didn't know anything about it. I knew that it had some ties to Cowboy Bebop, I think. That's what I had heard, so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then first episode, I was like, okay, they live underground. Animation's kind of weird, but I kind of get it. And it's a little over the top, the anime tropes. But then it ended up having its own style and really tugging on my heartstrings, especially that guy. Bro. That's his name. It was just lovely, and where it ends up going, you would not even guess where it would go watching the first few episodes of this anime. Even as you go, it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. I loved it. 10 out of 10. All right. Anime number 5. Death Parade. One of the saddest animes, one of the saddest shows, one of the saddest anything that I've ever seen. And it has a really interesting premise where it kind of takes place in the afterlife, but it's not really the afterlife. It's more like where you go after you die, and you play these games to figure out where you go. But it's all based around the actual you that's inside. And it is incredibly sad, incredibly interesting. It'll piss you off. It's just so good. And the overlaying story is incredible too. And it's just a beautiful anime. Highly recommend. Number 4, on this list I came across when I first got Netflix around the time that I watched the original Full Metal Alchemist the second time. And I was just trying to watch all the anime that I could. That was when I watched Death Note and um, this one weird one that involved taking pictures. I think it was called Speed Grapher. I watched all kinds of stuff, and that Girls Bravo. If anybody knows what that is, I don't recommend that one. But this one was unexpected. It ended up being 12 episodes long. Also, an interesting premise. It kind of, I don't even know if I could say anything about it. It would give everything away. Dude wakes up in a place where nobody dies. Like, you can die, but you just come right back. And he has no memories of what happened. Nobody does. And there's no telling how long these people have been here. And then in just 12 episodes, you slowly figure out what's going on. And it's just really good. It's really good. All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Number 3 on the list, Cowboy Bebop. I don't know why it showed those cowboys, but Cowboy Bebop, I knew what I was getting into when I watched this anime. I knew it was going to be great, and I put it off for so long because I watched it as a really, really little kid on Adult Swim, and I shouldn't have been, I don't think, watching Adult Swim. I mean, this show's fine, but all the other shows, not so good. But Cowboy Bebop is just pure sci-fi, like episodic. It'll tug at your heartstrings. It's got great action. The acting is really good. The music, phenomenal. And I couldn't. I've probably seen it like 20 times. The movie too. Everything about the original Cowboy Bebop is just 11 out of 10. Now we're moving on to the hardest part of my list. Number 2 spot and the number 1 spot. And this just recently happened within the past few weeks because it was the other way around. Brace yourselves. Prepare to embark. Dragon Ball Z. It used to be my number 1. I loved it as a kid. I've probably seen this entire anime from Dragon Ball to GT probably 10 times. For in English and Japanese, that probably each. I've seen the Japanese about maybe 6 times all the way through. That's the one that I usually go back to. I watched it as a kid. Watched it in Oklahoma when I was a kid. I don't live even close to Oklahoma now. We watched it through a tornado. I would get up, watch it every night because I'd have to go to bed, and then I'd get up and watch it because it'd come on late. I don't remember what we were watching it on. It wasn't what it was originally airing on. I ended up buying all of the box sets from Funimation as they came out for DVD, the uncut, remastered ones. And then I watched Dragon Ball Kai. It was good. It didn't really capture me like the original one did. Except for, it was kind of censored. That's why I go back to the Japanese version a lot. But man, yeah, that box set right there, I had all of them. I currently only have season 1 and 2 of GT. But 7 out of 10 show. But it's an 11 out of 10 for me because of childhood, and I can still watch it. and it's badass still. And there's still more of it coming out. And now we move on to the number one spot, Attack on Titan. This show, from start to finish, I watched it since it came out. Every episode as they came out for 10 years, and I just recently finished it. And it is just absolutely perfect. And you'd think because of the time frames that it took, like between seasons to come out, you think that it wouldn't, the pacing would be bad. But no, it's great throughout the whole thing. And it's throwing curveballs every episode. The way it does the cliffhangers, it really gets you, and it's not that bad if you're watching it, if you're binge watching it. I had to watch it episode by episode, so that was pretty shitty, but still, it's phenomenal, man. Highly recommend, but be warned, you will end up wasting a lot of time binge watching this show because it's just great. And I guess that's just about gonna sum up my anime list. And it's probably gonna change pretty soon because there's a lot of really good anime coming out pretty soon. And Bleach, it's starting to make its way back onto my list because of this new arc. It's just so good, so well animated, so well paced. The music is phenomenal.